Hello everyone, welcome back to Pabbly. In this video we're going to learn how to automate Stripe payment workflow, notify team on Slack, email, pay and add to ActiveCampaign. So I am an owner of a business in which I sell online courses to all of my students. I collect the payments using Stripe from my students whenever they're going to purchase a course. So here my objective is that whenever by any of my students a course is going to be purchased and we are going to receive a payment with the help of Stripe, automatically I want to create that student as a contact in my ActiveCampaign account. And after, as I've created the contact, I want to notify team on my Slack channel that I've created, telling them the purchase of the course has been done by any of my students with the payment details. And after that, I also want to send an email to my student who have done the purchase using Stripe, thanking them to purchase the course. So for that, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to create an automation between all of these applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you want to learn about this amazing automation, then let me take you all to my screen. Welcome to my screen. In this video, we're going to learn how to automate Stripe payment workflow, notify team on Slack, email Payee, and add ActiveCampaign contact. So I run an online course platform where students can purchase courses directly through Slack. When a student purchases a course via Slack, their details are automatically added as a contact in my ActiveCampaign account. And then a personalized welcome email is immediately forwarded, providing access of the course details to my students. Simultaneously, my team has also been notified on the Slack channel that I've created, keeping everyone in the loop of smooth coordination. This automation saves my team time, hours of manual efforts, eliminates the risk of human error, and ensures a seamless onboarding experience of students. And we're going to be creating this amazing automation with the help of Pabbly Connect. So on the screen, you can see the website of Pabbly Connect, that is pabbly.com/connect. After browsing this website, we need to sign in to our Pabbly Connect account. But if you're a new user, you can sign up for free and get 100 free tasks every month. So as I'm an existing user, I'm going to sign in to my Pabbly Connect account. After signing in, you can see the All Pabbly Apps window in front of you, in which you can see the 5 applications of Pabbly, from which we are going to select Pabbly Connect by clicking on Access Now. Then Pabbly Connect's dashboard is going to appear in front of you. In order to start an automation process in Pabbly Connect, we need to create a workflow. For that, click on this top right corner button right over here that says Create Workflow. A dialog box is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the workflow name and for us to select a folder. So for the name of my workflow, I'm going to give it as Automate Stripe Payment Workflow, Notify Team on Slack, Email Pay and Add to ActiveCampaign. So this is the name that I want to give to my workflow. Next, it is asking for us to select a folder. So on the left side of my screen, you can see I've created multiple folders in my Pabbly Connect account, from which I'm going to select a specific folder in which I want to save this workflow in. For that, click on this drop down. So these are the folders from which I'm going to select Stripe Automations as the folder I want to save this workflow in. After giving a name to a workflow and selecting the folder, let's click on Create. In order to create a workflow is created in the name of Automate Stripe Payment Workflow, Notify Team on Slack, Email Payee and Add to ActiveCampaign. And there are two windows in front of you. One over here says Trigger, other says Action. Trigger and Action are the two most important steps of our automation process, because our process depends on these two concepts. Over here, Trigger says when this happens and Action says do this. That means our action is a response towards our trigger. In an automation process, there can be only one trigger step but multiple action steps. Firstly, we're going to set up our trigger step. And for the trigger application, what we are going to do is, we are going to select it as Stripe. As with the help of Stripe, I am collecting the payments from my students who are purchasing the course that I'm selling. So that is how the trigger application, I'm going to select it as Stripe. And for the trigger event, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to select it as New Charge, so that whenever a new payment is going to be received to us, automatically Pabbly Connect should capture the response. After selecting the trigger application and the event, you can see that Pabbly Connect has provided us with a webhook URL. With the help of this unique webhook URL, we are going to connect Stripe to Pabbly Connect. So So I'm going to copy this URL from here and I'm going to follow the steps given in the help desk to connect Stripe with Pabbly Connect. Okay, firstly we need to log into our Stripe account. So this is my Stripe account, as you can see right over here, and this is the course that I'm selling with the help of Stripe, that is online PHP course for beginners. Okay, and I will be selling this course to my students with the help of Stripe, and I'm collecting the payments of all those with the help of Stripe. Okay, the account that I'm running right now, you can see, is in a test mode, but if you have a live account with Stripe, you're going to connect that account to Pabbly Connect in the similar manner that I'm going to tell you right now. Okay, you need to log into your Stripe account. So now to connect your Stripe account to Pabbly Connect, what we have to do is, on this top right corner a bar is given to us, from which we are going to click on this developers option. Okay, as we're going to click on the developers option, from this bar right away, we have to select the webhooks. Okay, after doing that, you can see the webhooks page is then going to appear in front of you. Over here, you have to click on this add endpoint button. It is asking for the endpoint URL, so I'm going to paste the endpoint URL, that is the webhook URL that Pabbly Connect has provided us. I'm going to paste the webhook URL in place of the endpoint URL. Next, it is asking for the list too. I'm going to select as events on your account. It is asking for the version. You need to select the latest version right away from the drop down. Okay, and for the event over here, you have to select the event as charge succeeded, so that whenever a new charge is going to be created, that means whenever a new purchase is going to be done, automatically Pabbly Connect should capture the response. So for the event over here, under this charge category, we have to select over here the charge succeeded event. Okay, after that, we're going to click on this add events button. You can see an event charge succeeded is added. Okay, after pasting the webhook URL, selecting the event right over here, I'm going to click on this add endpoint button. As you can see right over here, webhook URL successfully added to my Stripe account. Okay, for the event being charge succeeded. So as the webhook URL successfully added to my Stripe account, I am going to check whether the connection between Stripe and Pabbly Connect is successful or not. And how we're going to do that? By doing the test payment. Okay, for doing the test payments, I'm going to click on this payment links button right over here. This is the payment link for the course that I'm selling, that is online PHP course for beginners. And I'm going to sell this course. For that, I'm going to copy this link of this payment right over here, and I'm going to open this link in a new tab. Okay, so this is the link you can see for the online PHP course purchase right over here, and we're going to do the test purchase. As over here it says test mode. As I've already told you, my Stripe account is running on a test mode, as I don't have any live account with Stripe. But if you have a live account, you're going to receive the response of the payment whenever done by your students in this waiting for webhook response field right over here. Okay, so now we're going to do test payment to check whether Stripe and Pabbly Connect is connected successfully or not. Okay, it is asking for the details of the customer who are purchasing. For the email over here, I'm going to write the email of my customer as smartlead678@pabblytudes.com. Okay, it is asking for the name. So for the name over here, I'm going to write it as smartlead88, country as India. For the address, I'm going to write as 123 New Street. Okay, it is asking for the city. For the city over here, I'm going to write it as Indore. For the pin code over here, I'm going to write it as a dummy pin code. And for the state over here, I'm going to select it as Madhya Pradesh. It is asking for the payment details. I'm going to do the payment with the help of a card. So I'm going to fill in the card dummy details right over here. As this is a test mode, you can see right over the payment is test. So I'm going to fill in the dummy details. Okay, as I filled in the dummy details, I'm going to click on this pay button. As you can see, it says thank you for shopping with us. So the test purchase of this course that we are selling, online PHP course for beginners, has been done using Stripe. So now I'm going to my workflow that I've created, and I'm going to check whether Pabbly Connect has captured the response of the payment that we have done right now using Stripe or not. For that, I'm going to open my workflow and I'm going to scroll down, and yes, you can see right over here, Pabbly Connect has captured the response of the charge succeeded, that is the payment being done. Let us tally the response. Okay, for the status over here comes as succeeded. For the name comes as Smart Lead, state as Madhya Pradesh, postal code, dummy postal code, address, country, city. The receipt right over here, this is the receipt of the payment that is done right now. Method as card. Over here the amount you can see right over here with all the other details, like the name of the customer, the email of the customer, state, and all the other details. So this means that Stripe is now successfully connected to Pabbly Connect and our trigger setup is done. Now whenever a customer is going to purchase, a student is going to purchase any course with the help of Stripe, automatically Pabbly Connect is going to capture the response. Okay, so now here my objective is that whenever a purchase is done of the course that is online PHP course for beginners, then only this workflow should run. So what we are going to do is we're going to set up our action step. And as I want this workflow should run only for this specific course right over here, so we are going to add an action step, and for the action application we are going to select it as filter by Pabbly. As with the help of filter by Pabbly, we are going to filter out the values, the conditions on which we want to run this workflow in, okay? And for the action event, I'm going to select as filter values, and then I'm going to click on this connect button. As we're going to click on the connect button, it is going to ask you to select the label, filter type and the value. So as I want, whenever a payment is going to be done by any of my customers for the course online PHP course for beginners, then only this workflow that I'm creating should be executed. So what we are going to do is we are going to set the label over here first. And for the set label value, I am going to select the value of the amount of this course right over here, as I'm saying different courses and the amount of all the courses are different from each other, okay? So that is why for the select label over here, I'm going to select the amount because the amount is unique for me for each course that I'm selling. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select over here the amount of the course that I'm selling. So this is the amount right over here, that is 49900. Okay, so I'm going to select the label over here as the amount. Should be equal to, that is the value, that is 4990. So whenever the amount of the purchase is going to be equal to 49900, then only this workflow is going to be executed after this step right over here. Okay, then I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. As I've done that, the status comes as success and the message comes as condition is true. So as now the filter is set up, what is going to happen, as with the help of Stripe, I am selling all the different types of courses, but I want that whenever the course that is the online PHP course for beginners is going to be purchased by any of my students, then only I want to first create a contact of that student, notify my team on Slack and email the student thanking them for purchasing the course. Okay, and for that specific requirement, I have added this filter in this workflow so that whenever a purchase of this specific course is going to be done using Stripe, only then this workflow is going to be executed. Okay, so as now the filter setup is done, we are going to set up our action step, and for the action application now we are going to select it as ActiveCampaign. As now my objective is that whenever a student is going to purchase the course using Stripe, I want to add that student as a contact in my ActiveCampaign account. So what now we're going to do is we're going to select our action application as ActiveCampaign, and for the action event as update or create contact. After selecting the action application and the event, I'm going to click on this connect button. A new window is going to appear on which you can add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection. After that, it is asking for the API key and the URL. So for the API key and the URL, we are going to have the access of these details in our ActiveCampaign account. By following the steps given here below, we're going to have the details. Okay, I'm going to log into my ActiveCampaign account. So this is my ActiveCampaign account, and to have the details of the URL and the key, we have to click on the settings button on the left corner. You can see right over here. As we're going to do that, under settings it says developer, we are going to click on it. As we're going to do that, you can see right over here the URL and the key is provided. So I'm going to copy this URL from here and I'm going to paste it right over here. As in the help desk it says without this right away, so I'm going to remove the HTTPS from the front of this URL. Okay, and for the key, I'm going to copy this key from here and I'm going to paste this key right over here. After entering the API key and the URL, I'm going to click on this save button. As you can see that ActiveCampaign is now successfully connected to Pabbly Connect. After connecting, it is asking for the email, first name, last name, phone number and all the other details of the contact that we are creating. For entering the data of the customer right over here, we're going to map the data. Mapping means inserting data from the previous step. So we're going to insert the data from the previous step of this workflow. And how mapping works is that as soon as I'm going to click on this field, you can see these were the previous step of this workflow. And as I'm going to click on the Stripe new charge, you can see this was the same response that was captured in our previous step. As it is asking for the email of the contact that we are creating, so I'm going to search for the email of my student who have done the purchase. So this is the student's email, as you can see right over here, and in the previous response I've received this data of the student's email, and I want to create this student as a contact in my ActiveCampaign account. So what I'm going to do is from my previous response, I'm going to select this data. As I've selected the data from my previous response, the data is mapped. And as I've mapped the data has now become dynamic. That means whenever a new response is going to be captured in our previous step, automatically the new data is going to be updated in place of this mapped data. Next, it is asking for the first name and the last name of the contact that we are creating. So in my previous response, I have received the name of my customer, the first name and the last name all together. But I want to enter the name separately like the first name and the last name. So what we are going to do is we are going to add another action step to this workflow. And for the action application, what we are going to do is we are going to select it as text formatter by Pabbly. With the help of this amazing feature by Pabbly Connect, we can format the text according to our requirement. And for the action event, I'm going to select as split text. As I want to separate the first name with the last name, I want to split the text. That is why I've selected my action event as split text. And then I'm going to click on this connect button. As we're going to do that, it is asking for the text to split. I want to split the name of my student. So what I'm going to do is, in place of this, I'm going to search for the name of my student. I'm going to search for the name. So this is the name of my student. I'm going to map the data of the name of my student, as I want to split this name right over here. I want to split the name of my student with the help of the space given in between of the first name and the last name. In the help desk for the separator, it says if you want to enter the space, you have to enter the space in this format. So I'm going to copy this from here. For the separator, I want it as space. So I've written over here the space in the same format that Pabbly Connect is asking for. Okay. And then it is asking for the segment index. I'm going to select it as all because I want both the first name and the last name. And then I'm going to click on this save and send test request button. As I've done that, we have received a response. The first name and the last name is separated from each other. So now what we are going to do is, over here in place of the first name and the last name, we're going to map the data of the result that we have received, first name and the last name. Okay. So I map the data. Next, it is asking for the phone number. I do not have all these details right away. I do not require them. So I'm going to skip the part. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on this save and send test request button. As I'm going to do that, I have received a response right over here, which is a positive response. So now I'm going to open my ActiveCampaign account, the contacts of my ActiveCampaign account, and I'm going to check whether a contact in the name of Smart Lead 88 has been created or not. For that, I'm going to open my ActiveCampaign account, and yes, you can see right over here, could you contact in the name of Smart Lead 88 with the email as smartlead678@pabblytudes.com has been created in my ActiveCampaign account. So this means that we successfully connected ActiveCampaign to Pabbly Connect. So now whenever a new purchase of a student is going to be done with the help of Stripe, automatically a contact of that student is going to be created in my ActiveCampaign account. Now with that, it says we want to notify our team on Slack. So we're going to set up our action step according to this use case. Okay. And for the action application, we are going to select it as Slack, as I now want to notify the team on Slack channel that I've created. So I've created a channel in the name of Stripe Payment Details, and I want to notify my team on this channel with the Stripe Payment Details that is done by my students. So we're going to set up our action step, and for the action event, I'm going to select as send channel message, as a message is going to be forwarded to the channel that I've created. Okay. After selecting the action application and the event, I'm going to click on this connect button. A new window is going to appear, on which you can add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection. After that, we're going to click on this connect to Slack button. Over here, then a window is going to appear in front of you, which is asking for the token type. It can be either bot or user. So for the token type over here, I'm going to select it as bot, and I'm going to click on the save button. As I've done that, a new window is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a permission. So I'm going to click on this allow button, as the save process in my data is perfectly saved with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this allow button. As you can see that we successfully authorized Slack to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing, it is asking for us to select a channel on which we want to send the messages to. So I've created a channel in the name of Stripe Payment Details. So for the channel over here, I'm going to search for the channel that I've created in the name of Stripe Payment Details. Okay, I've selected the channel right over here. After selecting the channel, it is asking for the message that we want to forward on our Stripe account as a notification to our team members. So for the message over here, I'm going to write it as, so this is the message that I want to send as a notification to my team on Slack. It says new course purchase alert. Student name, the name right over here. Email, the email. Receipt link, the link right over here. It says next steps. Ensure the student have received their welcome email with course access details. Be ready to assist them with any questions or issues regarding the enrollment. For the data of my students, write the name and email and the receipt URL. We're going to map the data again. For the name over here, I'm going to map the data of the student that is going to be right over over here. I'm going to map the data. For the student's email, I'm going to map the data of the email of my student right over here. And for the receipt URL, we're going to map the data of the receipt URL that we have received. This is right over here, okay? So this is the message that I want to send as a notification to my team on my Slack channel that I've created, okay? After that, it is asking for the image URL, alt text, bot name, bot icon, and all the other details. I do not require the field, so I'm going to skip the part. And after that, I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. As I've done that, we have received a response, as you can see right over here, which is a positive response. And I'm going to open my channel that I've created on Slack. And yes, you can see right over here, we have received a notification regarding the new course purchase alert with the details of our student, the name and the email, and the receipt link right over here, okay? So this is a receipt of the purchase that we have done using Stripe, as you can see right over the course, that is online PHP course for beginners, okay? So this means that Slack has also now been connected to Pabbly Connect. So now whenever a purchase of the student is going to be done with the help of Stripe of the course that we are selling, automatically to our team on Slack, a notification is going to be forwarded telling them the purchase is done with the details of the purchase, okay? So now Slack is also connected to Pabbly Connect. And now with that, we also want to send emails to our student who have done the purchase, thanking them and assigning them the details of the course that they have purchased. So for that, we're going to add another action step to this workflow. And for the action application, we are going to select it as Gmail, as with the help of Gmail, we are going to be forwarding the emails, okay, to our students. For the action event, I'm going to select as send email v1, okay. After selecting the action application and the event, I'm going to click on this connect button. A new window is going to appear on which you can add new connection, or else you can select the existing connection. And after that, I'm going to click on connect with Gmail. A new window is then going to appear in front of you, which is asking for a permission. So I'm going to click on allow, as the saved process in my data is perfectly saved with Pabbly Connect. So I'm going to click on this allow button. As you can see that we successfully authorized Gmail to Pabbly Connect. After authorizing, it is asking for the recipient email address. On which email address do we want to send an email to? So for the recipient email address, I'm going to map the data of the email address of my student, as I want to send an email to my student. So that is for the recipient email address, I map the data, okay? Next, it is asking for the CC and the BCC. I do not require the field, so I'm going to skip the part. For the sender's name over here, I'm going to write it as Team Pabbly, okay? You need to enter the sender name right away according to your requirement. It is asking for the email subject, the email that we are going to forward to our students, the subject of that email. So for the subject of my email, I'm going to write it as, so this is the subject of my email, that is welcome to online PHP course for beginners, your course access details inside. So this is the subject that I want to send to my student as a notification on their Gmail account, okay? This is the email subject. Next, it is asking for the reply to. I do not require the field, so I'm going to skip the part. It is asking for the email content type. As the email content, I'm going to write in plain text. So that is of the email content type, I'm going to select it as plain, okay? Next, it is asking for the email content. This is the main body of the email that we want to forward to our students. So for the email content over here, I'm going to write it as, so this is the email content that I want to send to my students. It says hello. Next to hello, I want the name of my student. So I'm going to map the data of the name of my student right over here. I'm going to map it. It says, welcome to online PHP course for beginners. We are thrilled to have you on board and excited to help you start this learning journey. Here are some course access details. The course name as you can see right away, that is online PHP course for beginners. And for the receipt link, I'm going to map the data of the receipt link right over here. I'm going to map the data of the receipt link that I've received in my previous response, okay? It is asking for the next, it says click here for login credentials. For the username, I'm going to map the data of the email of my student that I've received, because that will be the username of my student. So I'm going to map the data. And for the password, I'm going to create a password with the name of my student. So I'm going to map the data of the name of my student underscore 123456. So this is the temporary password that I've created, okay? Next, it says, please change this upon your first login. What's next? You can start the course immediately. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to us at this email that is right over here, and we are happy to assist you. We are excited to see you thrive in the course and look forward supporting you throughout the learning journey. Thank you. Best regards. So this is the email content that I want to send to my students, okay? After filling in all the required details over here, I do not require the file name and the attachment, so I'm going to skip the part. After filling in all the required details, I'm going to click on the save and send test request button. As I've clicked on the save and send test request button, for the status comes as send right over here. So now I'm going to open my Gmail account and I'm going to check whether I have received a new email or not. For that, I'm going to open my Gmail account. And yes, you can see right away I have received a new email on my Gmail account. It says hello smart lead 88. This was the name of my student. It has the details of the course with the receipt, as you can see right over here. This is the same receipt of the payment that we have done using Stripe, as you can see, okay, with the details like the username, the email of our student with the temporary password, as you can see right over here, okay, and all the other details that is going to help the student to log into the course that they have enrolled in. So this means that we successfully created an automation between all of these applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. So now to sum up till now what we have done, I am an owner of a business and I sell online courses to my students, and I collected payments of the course enrollments with the help of Stripe. So my objective is that whenever a new payment is going to be done by my students using Stripe, firstly I want to add that student as a contact in my ActiveCampaign account. With that, I want to notify my team on Slack telling them the payment is done and we have received the payment of the enrollment of our student and the purchase is done with the details of the purchase. And with that, I want to send an email to my student on their Gmail account telling them and giving them the access of the details of the course that they have enrolled in. And for that, we have created this amazing automation between all of these applications with the help of Pabbly Connect. So if you like this video, please do subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment on below if you have any questions or doubts, and please share this video. Not just with these applications, you can create automation with the help of Pabbly Connect between multiple applications. If you have any doubts, you can send us email on support@pabbly.com. If you have any queries, you can ask your queries on forum.pabbly.com. If you have any queries regarding the pricing of Pabbly Connect, then you can check out this link. If you like this video, please subscribe to our channel, hit on the like button, comment down below if you have any questions and doubts, and please share this video, and thank you for watching.